Another week at the Supermarine Night Cyclocross World Championships, and I've got a good start. Obviously Mac's got a good start as well because he's an absolute powerhouse, but I've jumped straight on his wheel this week. No gaps are getting let up. I've had a coffee before this race and I was like, it is time to just bury yourself and stick to the man's wheel. Do not let that wheel go. But then coming in through here straight off the bat, you can see, look, I've got that little slip out, but thankfully I was able to keep it under control, stay on two wheels, get straight back on his wheel. But this course was absolutely painful tonight. The straights, I was getting my legs completely ripped off by Mac and Dave in this race. And obviously this is week 4 and we've got the GC battle still going on, so I have 1 minute 30 over Dave. Obviously Mac is in the junior race, so we're still trying to beat him though. Although he's not actually in our category, the overall win is about beating everyone that starts at the same time. Look at him putting the power down. He was putting me in the hurt box straight off the bat, and out of this little off camber corner here, look, straight out the saddle, bish bash bosh, absolutely ripping it. And I'm thinking, just get on his wheel, cling on to it for dear life. And he is, look at us, we're 32 mile an hour I just saw then. He is shifting, and to be honest, I think he looked over his shoulder there and he couldn't believe that me and Dave were still there. So Dave, who's also in the GC battle, is sitting on my wheel and I'm just clinging on for dear life to Mac's wheel here. But the course is in reverse to last week. Look, straight out the corner, putting the power down, absolute animal. But we have one more week after this, so this is the penultimate week of the Supermarine World Championships. And if you are thinking about giving Cross a go, and if you've got a light, come down and give this race a crack. It is epic. Just after work, Thursday night, have a hit out. It's super chilled. Although I'm like calling this the World Championships, it is not. Everyone just rocks up, has a good time and gets a good smash in with a little midweek race. You cannot go wrong. Get yourself signed up, and the more people we get there, the better the racing, the better the standard of racing, the more people that will be ripping my legs off, I expect. But as you can see here, he is putting us in the hurt box and we're coming down into the woods. So one thing I hope you take from this video tonight is just to never give up. Never stop pushing on the pedals, no matter how much it's hurting you. And even if you're getting dropped, as I do multiple times in this race, do not give up. Just work your backside off and try and shut down the gap or keep it to an absolute minimum. And sometimes that's what Cross is about. It's who's willing to suffer. And that's what I love about it. There's no like sitting in, hiding. You've got to just bury yourself from start to finish. Usually an hour. These races are 40 minutes of just getting my legs ripped off. But you probably can't believe it. I can't believe it. But I am still there with Mac. Normally, he's shelled us already because he has got a seriously fast start. But you are going to see when I get my legs absolutely ripped off and they show me manpower versus little maggot power on my bike. But we're coming into, this is going to wrap up the first lap. So I've played the full first lap. We're coming into these corners. The one thing that was saving me tonight is the corners, the wooded section and the corners. Now, you know, I was saying at the beginning of the season I was struggling with the corners, I was losing time, but I need to massively thank the Chris McLeod sessions I've been doing on a Tuesday night, and getting my butt whipped by these little kids going around the corners super fast has massively helped build my confidence and get me a little bit faster around the corners. But just after this off camber section, it is full ponies. It is a nuclear attack by Mac, and I'm like thinking now, this is it, this is race over for me. We've got 8 laps left. He shelled me. Look, I am dropped. But just at the point that I got dropped just here, Dave comes round, and now we are battling for the GC. So if you ever need something to motivate you for that one last little kick on, this was it. And he starts to close that gap down, and I'm like, thank God, what an absolute hero. And then coming into this corner, he just gave it that little nudge that was needed, and we managed to shut the gap down to Mac. But that straight there destroyed me every time. But what you're going to notice is through these wooded sections and that, I was able to recover. So coming through here, you saw the heart rates dropped a bit, but then as soon as it got back out to this next drag section, it was mammoth attacks. Oh, little skid out there from Dave, love it. But they're out the saddle, absolutely smashing it. And this is what I mean about never giving up. Every time I thought I was going to get dropped, and I was like, what are you doing? Just cling on for dear life. Do not stop pedaling. But you can see there, they started to freewheel. Every time they done that, it gave me the chance to shut the gap down, get back on, and then I was able to recover a bit on these wooded sections. But that is one thing that I definitely need to work on. I still need to build power on the flats, because they are just ripping my legs off. Look, straight out of this corner, they're on it. They know where their strengths are. It's on the flats. Mine aren't on the flats. But thanks to Andy Smith Events, who runs this, he put some corners in on this draggy section just here. Couple of little corners. They're not much, but they stop it from being a pure drag race. So hopefully he puts them little barriers in again next week, just to slow everyone down. But yet again, here we come through another lap, out of this off camber section. Smash, smash, smash. They go again. I'm thinking, when are they going to ease off? We're 9 minutes in, 2 laps down. Yet again, I have been shelled. I've been dropped. I'm getting no drafting benefit. We're doing like 23 mile an hour on grass. I'm thinking, these boys are strong. Give me a break. But the one thing I'd done was I did not give up. I kept pushing on the pedals, and I hope that Dave doesn't see this, but you can see every time they ease, I'm able to get back on, which is ideal. I was having to push it a bit into that corner, but I was making up my time on these wooded sections. But one thing it stops you doing is getting your recovery in then. And same again, here we go, bish bash bosh, they're gone again, absolutely ripping my legs off. Yeah, I hope Dave doesn't see this before next week, because we've got one more week in the GC battle, and if I tell him that the only reason I was getting back on is because they were easing off the power, they probably won't ease off the power next week. But as you saw, I got dropped again, then got back on, and every lap I got dropped. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't have the power. Look, coming off this off camber section again through the start finish, they smash it. And it's that elastic band effect. You saw it there as we're coming out the corner. They're obviously getting it upright a little bit before me and able to hit the power. The problem is I didn't have the legs to go to the front to stop that from happening. So that was just the reality of it. They were gonna get a bike length on me out of that corner. I was trying to get as close as I can, but then I was just having to absolutely bury myself down that straight. But every time I got back on here, and then they'd go again, but the difference was when you get on the wheel straight away and get that drafting benefit, it is a mammoth difference. But we're 15 minutes in and we are still on the front. We're still up with Mac. It's a bloody miracle. And then they go again. 18 minutes in, they go again. But this time I need to thank all of the back markers. Thank you very much. You made it just that little bit awkward that they had to think about where they were going to go, stuff like that. You are my heroes tonight. You let me have a little bit of a rest. The heart rate's at 178, pretty high. I've done a big training block this week, so there's my excuse, getting the usual excuses in. So as you can see, it got up to 178, but when I managed to hold the wheel, look at the recovery I was getting in. The heart rate's dropping down to 164 because I was able to use these wooded sections as recovery. And then yet again, we were hitting up some more back markers, and if Mac had played like the dirty move, he could have gone past and made it really awkward for me and Dave, but there's not really the room to overtake, so it's probably the right thing to do. Everyone's trying to get a good race in, wait behind them, but look, I managed to get the heart rate back down below 160 at that point, which massively helped. We're like just over halfway through the race now, and they're about to open it up again down this drag section. And look at Mac go straight out the saddle, absolutely smashing it. We're halfway through and I'm just thinking, just don't let the wheel go. And what does he do? He lets the bloody wheel go. This is criminal because you're not getting the benefit of the draft. You have to be glued to the wheel. But the one good thing is I was like a bloody pit bull terrier tonight, but coming into this corner, I think it's on this lap, I get it skew-if. There we go. I almost went down, the foot dab saved me, and I was like, that could have been race over. Sometimes when you're pushing the absolute limit to close down that gap, and it is a little bit of a slippy corner there because there's like all the branch leaves and stuff like that. When you're pushing that limit, you can easily make mistakes, but I got away with it there massively. That could have been absolutely game over for me there. But I think we're coming in now. We have got 3 laps to go, and I am still clinging on by my fingernails. And then they go again. Give me a break, lads. Give my little noodle legs a break. I was just digging in for dear life, and I thought if they are going to drop me this week, I'm going to need to damage limitation on the GC battle, because that gap can easily open up if they start absolutely whacking it. But Dad saves the day here. Look at Dad absolutely blocking the course. The man doesn't care. He has saved the day. Dell the hero. And then we come through with 2 laps to go, and they go again. Every lap I just knew they were going to go again on this straight. So 2 laps to go, and they really distanced me at this point, and I thought, this is it. You can't come back from this. But somehow, spoiler alert, I did manage to come back from this. That gap is considerable, but look, they just ease off there, stop pedaling, and that allows me to get back on. I had to absolutely rail this corner every lap, just miss that tree in order to bridge back on. But I'm as surprised as you are, guys. 33 minutes in, and we are managing to contain Mac. He made a little mistake back there with a foot down, and he made a few of them mistakes through that wooded section. And I think maybe we were pressuring him a little bit for once. But then they go again. I think, yeah, maybe through the woods. He hasn't been in this position yet where we're clinging on for dear life. But still, look at that. Look at the power. We're doing 32 mile an hour on grass. I don't do that on the road, gents. They are animals, absolute animals. So we are going to jump forward in a second. You can see I managed just to cling on there. But I think we come into some back markers again now, which is just, it is like perfect timing for me, just what I needed to ease off. So we're coming through the last few corners now, and just here I think Mac's dad was on the left, and he was like, I think he must have said to Mac, look, just there on the right, he was like, put a thermal nuclear attack in on this lap. And boy oh boy, did he put an attack in. But just there, you saw in that last corner, Dave ran a little bit wide. Now remember that for the final lap, because you know when it comes down to the final lap, your boy plays dirty. But straight out of this off-camber corner, I've not seen an attack like it. A little gap got opened as we went round that off-camber, and Mac just went absolutely nuclear on us. Dave went nuclear as well, went with it, and I was like, I ain't got the legs for this. But I did not give up. Admittedly, Mac absolutely broke us at that point. Fair play. 15 years old. He might be 16. I'm hoping he's 16. The lad is an absolute animal. Fair play. He put a huge attack in there. You can see the gap he's got on us now. He's going round that corner just in front. Dave's still there, and I'm relying on shutting this gap down. You can see Mac just coming out of the corner around the other side. I've managed to shut the gap down to Dave, and I think that attack hurt him a little bit. You can see here he's massively eased off the pedals, but I have clung on to him, and we're still in with a chance for the GC battle. So popping up here, you just saw Matt go round on the left. He had about 5 or 6 seconds on us, and I think at the end of the race, spoiler alert, he beat us by 6 seconds. But The GC battle and a little bit of pride for the senior men's race is on now. Dave's on the front. You know, if I get a sniff of doing him, even if I've got to play dirty, you know your boy's going to play dirty because it's in my blood. My dad has taught me how to take on a dirty mover, a Max Verstappen dirty mover a Max Verstappen dirty move coming into the last lap. That was an absolute mouthful. But we're coming into the last few corners now, and I already knew if I was still on his wheel, I was gonna dive bomb him and get into the off-camber section first. You needed to be in that off-cam section first. Here is where I go for it. I'll have to cut out his swearing. We did make contact, but if you're not rubbing, you're not racing. You've got to play dirty to get the win, and I apologise to him after, but I mean, I shouldn't really say sorry because I totally meant to do it, and I knew that if I got into this off-camber section first, he would not be able to come back round me. I played dirty. I got the senior men's win, and I've got a couple of seconds in the GC. And that is a wrap for another Thursday night Supermarine. If you're interested, make sure you get signed up. I think I've got about 1 minute 30 in the GC. It is the final week next week, so get yourself down there, get signed up, have a smash round with us. It's absolutely mega. And I'll admit that last lap move was dirty, but you got to do what you got to do, and that's the way the old man brought me up. If there's a chance, if there's a sniff of taking a place, you've got to take it. And I think it is safe to say Dave will not let me do that again next week. It is going to be elbows sharp, elbows out, ready to go. The last night, and also everyone that enters gets chips after the race. What more do you want? Get yourself signed up. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you in the next one.